What is up, everybody? Dak here, and I've got the box back out of the car because I've decided that I'm just going to finish it off. So, as you can see, I can't remember the last thing I filmed now, it's been a while, but you can see that the top of it's all been sanded. I got some new sanding pads so I could actually do it properly. And same with the front, it's all been resanded, and it's had just another thin kind of tack coat of primer added to it. So I went and got another can of primer because I ran out. So I've got another can of primer right here, which will, fingers crossed, cover this whole thing. I'm not going to get it completely white most likely, but I do want it thick enough so small blemishes can hopefully be sanded out, like that one there, which I must have missed, and that one right there. So I've still got a bit to do. This edge right along the top, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it now, but I'm going to mix up some more bog. I've just finished sanding it and cleaning it all off, and I was going to add the next coat of primer to it, but I want to see if I can get it a bit better first. Just these small marks like that I'd really like to get rid of, but on that, all these wood grains is, well, you can feel it just a wee bit, but once there's a coat of primer on it, hopefully they'll all vanish, and by the time there we go, and by the time all that's said and done, all the marks will be gone. I think that's what I was going to say then. The top though, come on, focus. What the hell, Apple? Jesus. Is this focus? Looks a bit blurred still. Maybe it can't work out how to do it. The top's really smooth though, really flat, apart from like, oh come on, focus. Jesus. Apart from this right here. Yeah, I mean, literally just apart from this right here, I think the other side's fine. Come on! Holy crap. Yeah, it's all good. That looks like a blemish right there, which is actually a small one. The camera's better at picking it up than my eyes, so hopefully that's a good sign. And it's not good for videos, but it'd be good for showing it off. Yeah, see no evil. Alright, probably do some more bogging here. Since I've now bogged and sanded, and once again, this to the naked eye looks like very pale pipe with pale bog, but on the camera it looks like yellow pipe with kind of more reddy bog. So it's exaggerating the colors for some reason. Not sure if it's got HDR on or something, but this doesn't actually look that contrasty in real life. Same with the blue down here. This has all got the first layer of paint over it, and I don't think there's any dust on it. So yeah, still got a bit more to do. Just got to take a mental note. This mark here, focus, camera, that seems alright, that mark there, and that one on top, and maybe another bit all along the edge here. And, oh, that's really smooth though. I feel like I could eat off that without getting a splinter. Or something along the lines of that. Also, I'm going to redo the port plugs. That's the old plug right there, or half of it, and then there's the other bit with the threaded rod right there. Just going to be doing a yeah, see this piece right here, it's a 45 from one of those ports. I think I've got another one similar which is completely round, and yeah, they're going to be doing that, minus the notch out of it, of course. So I might even, I'll tell you what, I've got this nice big sheet of 30mm thick ply right here, which I'm going to be using for a video at some point. The Venturi port, not Venturi, Tesla valve port. And here's an inch thick, so you can see it's 30, it's 1 inch is 25mm. So 30 mils a bit thicker than an inch by, well, actually quite a bit thicker. Then I could just cut rings around there, and I could actually add a bit of curve to it too, so it fits in the port a bit more smooth. I've got the template for it right somewhere, right there, so I could even just clone that profile. In order to make that port flare, I had just got a bit of sheet steel and cut a round over on it, so I can use the same bit of sheet steel with the round over to make the plug, except a lot of that, a lot of these are actually grout, not grout, but putty, what's it called again? You know, the like the stuff you use to smooth gyprock together. Can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. And then there's bulk to get it smooth, and fiberglass layer over the top. Probably won't even fiberglass this, but it's just got to plug it, and I'll be using foam too to seal it, so it's just got to squish. So I'll cut that in half and have it one per port. And that way too, hopefully I can use it to plug this one when I'm doing it in SPL mode, which is where this one's plugged and all these four are open. Yeah, I've got some bogging to do and I'll be back. All right, progress update. This new can of primer is now virtually empty. I just left the slightest dribble in there just in case I needed to do a bit more somewhere, just spray somewhere. It's now all coated in base coat primer. It's all flat white too, so it's not supposed to be glossy. I put a heavy coat on it last night, and then I did some more work on it today, and sanded the previous coat. Just got to give this one a quick sand before the blue goes on it. This stuff right here. The lid color, I suppose, it's a pretty accurate representation of the color. It looks a bit brighter than it does in real life on the camera. So the camera one's more accurate than the lid in real life. So you should be able to get the idea of it. I've still got the plastic bags in there, as I don't really want overspray to go into the box. The white, not so much of a problem. Of course, I didn't want to get white spray paint on the driver or anything, but I've now just got bags stuck in there. I'll have to push this back in a bit. While dusting it, putting the blower in those puffs side out, it's quite funny. There are just some minor blemishes. That's about maybe 1/4 of a millimeter deep. It's like for scale. Here are my fingers. It's really I'm just really crossing my fingers that 2 cans. I've got 2 cans of this stuff. That by the time both are on, things will be a bit more difficult to tell. Also, I sprayed a fair bit more white inside the port. Now the camera, right now on the camera, it looks like last time I said how it looked in real life, and in real life it looks just like it's all white. You can't tell the difference. The camera, I don't know why it's so good at picking up differences in colours, but and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But from an OCD standpoint, it's a nuisance. I've just been wiping all the surface paint, which just settled on top and hasn't really adhered. Feels quite dusty and leaves your hands looking like the round over though, it's starting to look obvious that it's not perfect. I would like to get it perfect, but honestly there's so much work getting it perfect that I may as well just, I don't know, get a sheet of plastic, or I don't even know, run this to an industrial thicknesser. It just seems like the impossible task getting it perfect. Even whenever, say like this here, I tried to bug up this here, and even after sanding it, and I thought it was fine, but left it raised, and it's just take it out. You got to eventually call it quits. So that's why I'm calling it quits now. But it's going to look quite neat after this stuff's on. It's going to look like a water slide, so that'll be neat with these holes in it. And since too, now it's the proper paint, not just an undercoat or primer base coat. I'll wipe it down with a bit of this wax and grease remover just to really clean paint off, clean the dust off any hand grease that might have got onto it. Also, after this goes on it, and this is a gloss, I'm pretty sure. I think it's a gloss. Yep, gloss. Bermuda blue. I think this is... Yeah, it is Bermuda blue. There we go. Because Subbog's it's gonna vanish on me now. If the caps look different, this one's just got some overspray of the white primer on it. Or just dust. Just dust. But yeah, these are both going on top. And then for the top, I've got gloss clear coat. This stuff I got recommended by Guyot Painting, so fingers crossed it does a good job. I want it to look really smooth. Hopefully too the gloss effect will often it exaggerates blemishes, but I'm hoping it'll actually disguise some of them. But just by building up the thickness of the paint on top should have this similar effect. So just going to do a first kind of light tack coat now. Because I always seem to get a bit too keen and just unload half the can in one hit. Before, when I was just after I finished sanding, doing just essentially all the sanding, yeah, virtually probably used about 2/3 of this can in one hit. So use a bit of self-control now and see how far I can get these cans to last me. The radio, I think I've now put maybe about 2/5 of this can onto the box, and this is what it looks like so far. Of course it looks pretty patchy, but this is just the base coat. Also, same as usual, it looks a bit darker in real life than it does on the video. Yeah, I never noticed this problem with the SLR, but yeah, see that it's very clear that it's no longer white, whereas this looks kind of grey. It looks very more like a dark blue kind of effect while it's all still wet. Might do a wee bit more, might take it down to half. I got a bit carried away again, now I'm halfway through the next can. But I'll tell you right now, looks pretty damn good. Well, you can see that it's still wet, but it is doing its gloss effect, and I can see some reflections in it. You can see the upright from the cabinet there. So I'll have to, I've only got a wee bit of that can left, and I'll just have to wait for this to dry to, is that reflecting? Yeah. I'll have to wait for it to dry before I can tell what needs a bit more